Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today and welcome to my podcast studio. Before we start on today's episode, I just wanted to take a quick moment to say I am truly, truly grateful for you being here. It means the world to me and my guest for us to be able to share our conversation with you. If you do like what we're talking about, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And if we do talk about something that you either agree or disagree with, please put it in the comments. We would love to hear your feedback. Also, please don't forget, I do a lot more than just podcasts. So every Tuesday, I'll put out a drum playthrough. I'll also documenting my journey on writing my solo album, which will feature a lot of guests that have been on the podcast. I'm also putting up a lot of tips and tricks of stuff that we do talk about in some of the podcasts, like insights that I get from some of the guests that share their journey in the music industry. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And again, please don't forget to subscribe. Let's get into it. We were just talking about Lars before. You were admiring my little Lars drawing here in the background.
Yeah.
So what have you got any specific admiration for Metallica, Lars Ulrich? You're a drummer yourself, so
The early time it's good. Lars in the beginning was the best. And then he's Lars. That's it.
Yeah. And he hated Napster as well, didn't he?
He had this little love-hate relationship with Napster, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being something that I quite liked about him was, he had some passion for music and how to make money out of it.
Info marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely picked up a couple of haters there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what actually ever happened to Napster, because you don't really see that around anymore. It's all Spotify.
I wouldn't know. I probably bought out by someone, I imagine, wouldn't they? Bought out by Spotify, just... It's all folded into the...
It's a good question, actually. Yeah, because I haven't looked into it, man. But because everyone these days is using Spotify and all the other streaming services.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends in Brazil using SoulSeek.
Okay.
Sick.
Yes.
And what is that? And what's the difference to that?
I can go in your files and download whatever you have.
Oh, really?
Everyone can share. It's interesting.
That's like the old LimeWire.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But wouldn't that be like almost the same as like when you're doing all those like torrent sites and stuff where you sort of just share bits and pieces and so just mirror files and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
They're good things.
Yeah. Other alternatives is always good, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, look, obviously, I'd love to just have a chat and just we'll run through a lot of different stuff. But obviously, one of the main reasons why we got you guys in is because you just released a really, really cool album not too long ago. I listened to it all the way here, driving up here today, just to get in the mood, man. It's dirty. I like it.
Yeah, that was the aim.
Yeah, well, you definitely succeeded in that, man. It's a really cool vibe, man.
Yeah, we did it all ourselves, really, which we're pretty proud of.
Wow, fantastic.
So we were rehearsing in a space where they had recording capabilities, and we just sort of threw some mics on the drums and started going ourselves, and did all that kind of stuff ourselves. So all the in-studio stuff was all done just us three. And then we sent all the files over to a friend in Brazil who mixed and mastered it all, and then that was it. So, but yeah, the reason we set out for it to be a bit gritty, a bit raw, and not be too overdone.
Yeah.
Which also, I suppose, is limited by the fact that we did it ourselves. So by doing it ourselves, we sort of kept it simple, rather than involving people with lots of different ideas and lots of different techniques and lots of different things to do. It was just us. We just got the tracks recorded how we wanted them to sound, and then the rest was just mixing and mastering. And
well, again, it really, really suits the style.
Yeah.
Like, because, it is supposed to be, a bit unpolished.
Yeah, that's it.
So, so did you know anything about recording prior to sort of getting started on this?
I've got a history in doing some audio engineering and stuff, so I had pretty much the basic idea of how to get a good sound and how to record drums and how to record guitars and bass and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it was learnt on the fly as well, because things change and things happen. And a lot of it was done where we would do the drums in a 4-hour session. Then we'd leave for a week come back next week, do the guitars in 4 hours, come back next week, do little bits in 4 hours. So it was always in 4-hour sessions pretty much.
Oh, because of the rehearsal studios. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we would spend the first hour setting the drums up and then record the drums for as many songs as we could in that time period of 3 hours. So pressure was on Dimmy. And then we just sort of clean the rest of the songs up as time went on. It was just, that's how we did it.
That's awesome, man.
A really weird way of doing it. We didn't sit down from start to finish with a song. We just sort of did the bits that we could do in each week. Yeah, it was good.
Awesome, man. So how long did that take all up to do the album?
Yeah, that's the problem. It took a while.
Right.
Well, start to finish, 6 months.
Yeah.
But there was breaks and stuff in the middle. Sometimes we'd go and just practice the songs, because after 3 or 4 weeks of only recording drums, you right, I've forgotten how this song's supposed to sound and what we want out of this song. So we'd sometimes just go, right, no recording, we'll just do the songs and figure them out. Keep writing them until they're ready and then record the bits that we wanted. So we were in no rush, so we just took our time. It was pretty much, end of 2019. It was all pretty much done.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we were just taking our time. And we had the ethos that it's very easy to just start playing music and go out playing gigs and stuff like that. But we wanted to hit the scene, I suppose is one way of saying it, with a back catalogue, with something there set to go that people can look up, rather than saying, oh, I like that band, let's go and look at some of their music and there's one song there.
Yeah.
We were like, no, we want the whole thing there so people can have a look and find what they like about it and stuff.
Yeah, wicked. It's funny because it's such a mixed approach to that, because you've got other bands who's like, nah, we just want to do a couple of singles and sort of play gigs first and stuff, and there is just no right or wrong way of doing it. It just comes down to really what suits you. I mean, personally, I love your approach. I mean, I preach that all the time, that if I hear a band I like, I go in and they only have 1 or 2 songs, I'm like, oh man, I wish there was more, man. Because, it's so like I just saw them live, or I just felt this one song that really resonated with me, and there's nothing else.
That's it.
And then it's like, and you can argue, obviously, like, do you then lose interest because there's nothing else, or do you become like really intrigued because you want the next song?
Well, I think the people that become the numbers of people that get intrigued are really small. They're the music lovers. They're the people that are willing to wait for 6 months for you to release your next song.
Yeah.
But the majority of people, I would say, would go, oh, there's only 2 songs there. By next week, they've moved on. They've done something else. That's not saying there is an area in between of lots of different people, but we're of the mindset that when we do it, that's what we want. So that's how we're going to approach it, really. And we'd all been in different bands and probably done different things in different ways. And one of the downfalls of all the other bands I've been in was that people would like your music. They'd come and say, what can I listen to? And you go, oh, here's 2 songs. And then you never hear from them again. So if you've got 12 songs, you go, there you go. There's an album. Off you go. Enjoy.
And I like the fact also that you did a full album instead of because obviously an EP is sort of like the happy medium between a single and a full album. So what made you decide to do a full album?
Having the songs, pretty much.
That's more than enough.
Yeah. We were pretty prolific in the early days. I think we come from different backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. So when we came together, the sort of jamming aspect of the band was really productive. We didn't mess around. When something wasn't working, we left it. When something was working, we developed it. And within 3 or 4 months, we had 10, 12 songs, all pretty much tied up.
Fantastic.
And I think that was another driving reason that we were like, what's the point in releasing an EP when we've got these songs here? So we might as well just improve on them and record them, get the thing done.
For sure, man.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, really. We thought about it, but it is a bit of an odd way of doing it, but yeah.
Well, it obviously worked well.
Yeah, it does work, yeah.
But so you mentioned you all came from sort of like from different backgrounds and stuff. So how did you guys meet and how did you get started?
His fault.
It's all my fault.
Yeah.
I came to Perth. The same old story, met a girl from Perth, and here I am.
That's guilty as well.
Yeah. They're all pretty around here, aren't they? But yeah, so I lived in South America for a few years, trying to make it as a musician, which is not easy. Met a girl from Perth and moved here, and then was like, look, how am I going to get my music fix? How am I going to be able to do it? And I'd never done it before, but it was just one of those Facebook groups of people, bandmates, wanted sort of thing.
Yeah, good.
And Dimmy popped up, Mark popped up, and we just got into a room and we're like, well, this works. This is fine. No more looking.
Yeah.
So we're all pretty pleased. I suppose you hear Dimmy play drums, you're like, okay, don't need anyone else. He's brilliant. So why would we need anyone else? Same with Mark. Like Mark's a brilliant guitarist, so you just go, no need for anyone else.
Yep.
And that's sort of where the 2 guitars, no bass sort of came from as well, because
I was going to ask you about that as well, like how that came about.
We got a bass player, but I think the night before the jam, he just texted, guys, so I can go tomorrow. I don't have my drive license, so sorry. So I said, okay, man, no worries, it's fine. After the jam, we looked at each other and said, man, we don't need bass. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
that's it.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, we had 2 guitarists at the first time we met, and then we just kept it that way forever. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, the bassist pulled out.
Well, that's a good little sort of point of difference as well. Like you wouldn't see too many bands without a bass player. So that can, again, could be sort of give you that little little something extra.
All those things add up to each other, don't they? And little things that make you stand out. So I don't think we did it to stand out. We did it out of convenience.
Yeah,
it was. People comment on it, so it must mean something. But it's working. It's been a bit of an effort to get that to work properly. But that's the fun kind of work, trying to make that sound. We've got this idea of what we want, and then we spend a few weeks figuring out how to make it work with 2 guitars. And then we were off to the races, having a good time.
Yeah. Well, I suppose another good thing about that is also that, it's one less person you have to it's one less opinion that you need to factor in when you're writing and logistics and
bassists are notoriously less opinions, so
I'm sure they would say the same about guitarists and drummers and
just take that variable out.
Well, again, it's one less mind, one less opinion.
So sometimes that can be good, sometimes it could be bad.
For sure.
I think we just worked so well together in the first rehearsal. It was just like we all seemed to know what each other was up to.
Yep.
And with 3 people, each person has a freedom. There's no one over the top of the drums playing any other percussion or rhythm. Like the lead guitar's got loads of space to work in, and then you can figure out what I do in the middle. I think we liked that freedom. It was like you do you and you do you, and no one's just following the pattern. Everyone's doing their own thing, and it just sort of worked.
Well, again, as I said before, like whatever it is you're doing works really well. Like again, it's like what you've done on the album. Again, it's got that sort of raw sound and like the energy, and you can. It's actually, now you're saying it. It's almost like you can feel that it is sort of recorded in like a more basic setting, if you would call it that, because it gives it that really authentic sound.
Yeah, and we that was really key for me anyway. Was I think that for me is what I enjoy about music, is the rawness, the realness, the mistakes sometimes on songs, things that don't sound right but you make them work, all that kind of stuff I really enjoy. I like that grungy sort of old school way of doing it. So I think we just made sure that we kept on doing it that way and didn't mess around, because there's a point where I think there was a point in the process where we went, should we just go and book a studio and get this done properly? And I think we all sort of thought about it for a little while and then went, no, this is the way we're doing it, and this is the way it's going to be, and it worked out. So I think we all like that, not overproduced, not perfect. Like I've been in recording sessions before where drummers have gone, that kick is out by a millisecond, and you're working for 20 minutes with the producer trying to line things up and edit, and we just that's not how we wanted it. We wanted it to be.
But how did you do it then? So obviously, if you recorded everything in a rehearsal space, you would have brought all your own gear and like your own like audio interfaces and bits and pieces and stuff.
Well, they had an audio interface and stuff there,
right? Okay.
So they had a little tiny control room off the rehearsal room, and they had a snake and the cables and mics and stuff. So all of that was supplied, but it was the stuff that you get in a studio that's 20 years old and has been used and dropped in pints of beer and all that kind of stuff. And
awesome.
We never really tried to change that.
Yeah, old version of Pro Tools.
Yeah, like the Pro Tools 1 and stuff. And like just
runs off a floppy disk and stuff.
We're basically just punching numbers in. But yeah, we just sort of, for me, all of that is what I liked about it.
Yeah,
I really liked that sort of thing. So it worked, and we just kept going. So yeah, it was all about keeping it as real and as close to what you'd hear if you came and heard us in that recording studio or in that rehearsal room.
Yep.
To obviously there's embellishments that you put on an album, but we wanted it to sound like it would be if you were coming to listen to us, and as close to that as possible, because you play a show and you don't get it perfect every time,
that's
all
it.
that kind of stuff. And I think for me that's what music is not this perfect thing, this mathematical equation that you can put things into and write a pop song.
Yeah.
So it was just trying to keep it as close to listenable as possible, as well as having it
all organic.
All organic.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, organic was the word. Yeah.
So have you done any sort of post-production, any extra layers to it after, or were you sort of trying to do, because I remember you mentioned before that you were still sort of layering it. So like doing the drums and then adding guitars and stuff after.
Yeah, so we added stuff on the fly while we were recording.
Yeah.
So the song would be written, we'd put the parts down that we had written. There's only 3 of them, so or vocals as well. But we had those parts, and then sort of after that whole process is done, we come back, listen to the song, and add little bits that we wanted to add. But we were again quite conscious of not adding too much, just trying to keep it simple and only adding bits that we really thought were necessary. I guess there's like gaps because of the way we were recording. There was bits of where you'd go, "Ooh, there's no bass in that part. There's not enough treble in this part. There's like, it all sounds a bit off because we didn't quite get it right. So let's put the little bits in and fix it up, like patch it up." But that was all part of the fun. Yeah, just adding those little bits. Yeah.
Cool. And another cool little interesting bit to the album is you got some live songs there as well.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know why did we? Do you know why we did those?
One of the songs was
time.
The beat was like, whoa, that was too much. I think we need to put a little bit less. Let's try record live. Okay, and then you can listen to it and fix it. Then after recording, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, maybe we can keep one for live.
Yeah.
And then, wow, this one is good. Just throw away this and keep this for live.
Yeah. So the songs are live. So they're live in the rehearsal room, but not live on stage.
No, live on the studio.
In the studio. Yeah, okay.
Microphones.
Yeah,
we didn't record vocals. We recorded everything altogether.
Yeah, I think what we were trying to do was
That sounds really good then for just a live recording. That's
it was
fantastic.
Literally, we mic'd up the room, and we mic'd up the amps.
Yeah.
And the vocals.
The drums
and that was it.
And vocals.
Yeah. So it was literally 5 mics.
Probably.
That's so cool, man.
Around and then put it in. I think what we were trying to do was trying to get a handle on the song. They were the songs that we were like trying to get an idea of what we wanted out of the song. So we said, right, let's do a live recording and see how it sounds. And then it sounded good. And we went, okay, let's add another couple mics and try again. And then we did it again and it sounded great. So we were like, perfect, leave it.
Fantastic, man.
We got what we needed. Yeah. Yeah, I think there was part of it was just like, these are songs that we need to get down. We want to get these recorded.
Yeah.
And we're going to try different ways of doing it, I suppose. See what sticks. So there's a bit of experimenting going on and a bit of, just seeing winging it, I suppose, is the best way of putting it. But then I guess like the last one, Bug Love on the End, is just an acoustic one that was just an acoustic song that I'd written and we just threw it on the end.
Yeah.
Recorded that one nice and clean.
Little extra filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, wicked.
Just one for the ladies.
Good stuff. Man. You got to make sure you please them as well. Hey.
That's it.
But so you remember you were saying earlier you used to live in South America.
Yeah.
And then obviously you said you're from Brazil. So you mentioned as well that you sent some stuff to Brazil. Was that to get everything mixed?
Yeah, mixing mastering.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dimmy's friend over in Brazil, after 40 years of playing music in Brazil, he's made a lot of friends. So we sent it over to a guy that because we sort of reached our limit at that point. We were like, we can't mix and master to the quality that we want.
Yeah.
So let's find someone that can. And then we sent it to him, and he did a brilliant job. So we were like, keep going, and then just keep doing the album. We sent him like one song, and he did it really well. And we were like, right, off you go.
Here's another one. Here's another one.
Keep going.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah, because I had a few attempts at trying to do it myself, and I was like, I'm not doing these justice. Someone else needs to do it. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Really.
It's sometimes also like it can be a really good process to try and remove yourself from that part, because otherwise you're never gonna finish it.
Yeah, that's it as well. I'm the type of person that would sit with a song for ages.
Yeah,
just not ready with it. But yeah, having another set of eyes is good.
But also like tracking is a thing in itself, which again, it's probably a lot easier to track it than it is to get something mixed, and so it sounds all really, really good. So
yeah, we just found we'll do the easy bit, someone else does the hard bit. Yeah, because we're lazy like that.
but again, it's also again, if you, as you mentioned yourself, if you do want it to sound good, and you don't have that confidence or that level of qualification to be able to do it to a decent level, then it's probably better to pay someone else to do it.
Yeah, well, we didn't pay him.
Oh, well, that's even better then.
just a friend's mates rates.
A good friend.
Yeah, awesome, man.
So yeah, we were just that was it. That's exactly it. We didn't have the confidence. We didn't think it would do it justice. So we did as much as we could for free on our own, and then send it off to someone else.
And also it's good when you are recording songs and you have extra people. Yeah,
absolutely.
You are walking here, you can see just in this way. Extra open, you can see everything. That's why he did Jordan. He always, man, check this, man. It's good. It's not the final. I'm gonna send another one, and then another one. No, I'll fix it. I discovered this and this mic and that one. We wouldn't be like, I don't know. Also, perfect to do this.
Also, so did he also like correct your recording techniques as you went, or?
Kind of. He critiqued our recording techniques. Right. Okay. I wouldn't say corrected.
Yeah.
He told us that he would be like, if I'd have recorded this is how I would have done it. But for me, in the same way,
that's a diplomatic way of saying it.
But for me, in the same way, it's like, well, we've struggled through this tracking process. You've got to struggle through the mixing process that brings it all together. Yeah. You work with what you've got and make the best out of it. It's sort of how we approach it all. So he everything could have been perfect, but then it wouldn't have been.
Then it wouldn't have been sounding how
what we wanted.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah, some of the tracks were noisy and messy and horrible and little bits. We didn't do any corrections, did we?
No,
I don't think we corrected anything. We just sort of went sorry and then carried on. Yeah. And he sort of had to fix it, but yeah, we could next time we do it, we will do it in a different way.
Yeah.
Because I was just
next time.
Because I was just about to ask, so obviously now we've done it once, so when you do it next time, what sort of learning process, what are you going to improve, and what did you pick up from this experience?
Set up the drums and record everything.
To do what? Sorry.
Set up the drums. And do the whole process.
You want the whole album.
The drums in 2 hours, 3 songs, and then record guitars, and then next time set up the drums again and record 3 or 4 tracks. Next time gonna be the whole session.
Okay.
We do as much of the drums, because I think some of the problems that we ran into were that when we re-mic'd up the drums, they sounded different, or we re-mic'd up the amps, they sounded different in some way. So it would be just having that continuous sound across a whole album or EP of the drums being exactly the same.
See, personally, I like when especially the drums, where they don't sound the same. And to be honest, I actually like when you've taken the time out to actually change the tone. If it's a song that suits a different tone, a different snare, or maybe different heads altogether, different cymbals, depending on, again, if it's a really loud song or a quiet song. But for me, and this is again just my experience on the recording process, is if I had to go in and do a whole album in a couple of days, for me, I think that's far too compressed. So I find it a bit more, again, and we're all different, but I find it more sort of appealing to finish one song and work with that. So you go all in on that. You shape and sort of sonically find out how this song is supposed to sound. Yeah. Then you do the next one.
Yeah, I guess but
it's obviously different, a very different time consume.
Dimmy saying that is because he's the drummer and he wants to play drums for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I think my reason for doing that would be slightly different. It would just be timing, just amount of time it takes, because how much of a recording session is taken up with some idiot tuning his drums and setting up his drums and miking the drums and lugging everything around. For me, it would just simply be get the drums there, leave them there, and we don't have to touch anything because it's just the effort for me. Yeah. It's just that it's all there. It's all ready to go. We'll do it. So for me, it's not necessary. I would tweak in the sound, and I do like, as you, I prefer do one song, do the next song, do the next song. But I think we found that if we're not going to be the ones mixing it, it can be an issue. And if we're not going, if we're in and out of a room, putting drums up, taking drums down, it can just waste time. It just wastes time.
But like, wouldn't you, if you had to play drums for a whole day, like, wouldn't you, like, I know I would, like, halfway through I'd be like, I'm out of energy, man. Like, I've got no stamina left. I feel like your chops might like fall down a bit.
Maybe not this.
It's like a massive workout.
Yeah.
No, I'm all right.
No,
wicked, man.
I think by 7 hours you'd be like, what song are we recording now and how's it going to sound? Because if you've gone from, I think we would probably do the drums not in one session for the whole album. Probably I would say we would pack the songs together and go, right, that's a heavy one, that's a lighter one. Let's do each group together. But for me, I wouldn't do drums all that way, because then if you get to the end and it's like, right, this is a heavy song, and he's like, I've not got the power, then it's not going to work, is it? But yeah, I think that's one of the things we would do differently probably, is just logistically plan it out a little better, because sometimes we were like running in going, right, oh no, we need to add this bit, we need to take that bit out, moving things around and just sort of wasting time. Yeah. Even though we did it in short bursts, we wasted a lot of time. But yeah, well, I'm pretty proud. I don't think it would change much. To be honest, it's circumstantial. I think it was because of the place we were and the situation we were in is the why we did it that way. I think next time we'll see what situation we're in and do it however that situation asks for it. So yeah,
we'll see.
We will see. We'll find out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what else have you got sort of in the cards? Because like when you start sort of playing live and stuff, how long have you been around the scene for?
Playing live shows consistently, not too long. We started sort of probably the end of last year.
No, before the first lockdown.
Right, before
we did the first gig.
Yeah.
And then we got the lockdown.
Yep.
7 weeks, pretty much. And then October last year, and last month.
Yeah, just picking up and just slowly easing into it. Well, yeah, as we did the first gig, then we were locked down, so it sort of threw the momentum off a little bit, and then the approach to gigs sort of has to have changed a little bit, and you meet bands, and the more bands you meet and the more gigs you play and the more stuff you do, the more offers you get, so it's slowly getting there. But yeah, I think it's just our general approach. We just sort of think things will come. I think it will happen when it happens, and we're like, Dimmy's proactive in a lot of the stuff we do. He's the main driving force behind like getting gigs and all that kind of stuff. But it also comes down to we are 3 working older men.
Yeah.
We can't be going out 2 times a weekend playing gigs and all that, so it's just picking and choosing as well. We're not going to play shows where we don't feel comfortable playing them, if that makes sense. Like, we're not playing in we'll play with bands that we want to play with, and we'll play in venues that we want to play in. We're being picky because we can afford to be, because it's not trying to make a living out of this at the moment. So we're just being a bit just taking our time. But yeah, I think we've got shows coming up. So
July is the next one.
But yeah, we'll just take when people offer, we say yes. pretty much. But we just sort of, we've put a few on ourselves, but it can be a bit hard, that one. It can just be a bit of it's a job at the end of the day when that happens. If you're putting on your own gigs, you're doing a lot of work to essentially put on a gig for other bands as well, and try and bring in a crowd and try and work out with the venue and all that kind of stuff. And it's a bit too much. So yeah, we're just waiting, building up, meeting more bands, getting offers, chatting, seeing what's going on.
Yep.
And slowly building.
We are a new band. When you have a new band in the scene, it's hard, but we are patient. Yeah. We're gonna get there. Yeah. I did this before. The same as Mark and Barry. It's fine.
Yeah. Fantastic, man. So your background in Brazil.
Brazil.
Yep. What did you do in Brazil?
I started when I was 15. I started singing and playing harmonica. I also have a blues band, soul music band.
Oh wow!
And then I just gave up and said, okay, I want to be a drummer. And then from there, I recorded 6 albums. I recorded the 7th now, and I did 2 huge tours in Brazil. I got a couple of bands. Yes, my last work was like my prod, because I got a clone drum. 2 drummers playing using the same kick, sharing the kick 4.
How does that work?
And the band was an instrumental band. Pretty much what I love. It's like prog, 70s rock. Yeah, but now I'm falling in love with my band. Yeah, but back in Brazil, I used to work as a tour manager.
Yep.
I worked in a huge festival, music festival in northeast of Brazil, do Soul Festival, and they have 20 years, 20 editions, like big, huge. We did 2 or 3 bands from Australia, Don Fernando from Sydney and Nation Blue from Melbourne. And yeah, I did, I don't know, a couple of things. And now I'm trying to do a work in Australia, what I've done in Brazil. Get bands to tour. Bands need touring in Australia. We have Perth, and in Perth you can have at least 2 gigs, but down south you can get at least 3. But East Coast you can go from Sydney to just put a band in a van, get a couple of gigs and do like weekends, 15 days, month. This is very common in Brazil because Brazil is huge and we have lots of pubs, we have lots of bands, lots of contacts, and people receive bands to the gig and send them for another city. I think this is gonna be my way to live in Australia. I need to put bands to touring.
Yeah, amazing.
Guys here,
amazing.
Some of bands here I've been seeing, they are trying to do, but I think they get struggling to deal with venues. I'm gonna teach them how to do it. It's easy. Just do it.
Fantastic, man.
We will see.
So is that a potential business idea or something you want to try and do?
But for us, it's gonna be our future.
Yep.
Like, we are 3 men. We have our jobs, families. But if we have a weekend, we can go and play in Melbourne, Sydney, and come back. You are doing tourism. Why not? That's why I did in Brazil 2 tours in the whole country. One of them was by car, 18,000 kilometers by car. And I just drove from the northeast until Argentina and come back. So this was like a dream, was my best experience in life. And then I thought, yes.
What about?
Yes, now it's time to go. And I was about to do, okay, let's go to Europe. And we have to do a tour in Europe. And the guy was, okay. And then I'm here in Australia. I'm gonna do in Australia. And then let's go to Europe. It's easy. It's home.
It's true.
Nice.
So now it's easy. I found the right person. Maybe people, Mark, as well.
But is that something you guys would love to do? Like to try and go and tour over east and overseas?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that's part of the love of it is getting out and showing people our songs and playing music for people. And I don't know, the way the world is now, it's a distant dream. But the thing is, it's not impossible.
No.
And yeah, that's why I do it, is to play shows. And I think living in this part of the world where you're so isolated, it can get a bit monotonous. It can get a bit, there's only a certain amount of venues and you can't go somewhere else really. There's these venues and that's it. And if you've played all those venues and you've played with all the bands, then you sort of finished. You're not finished, but you've completed the whole thing. For me, it's new experiences, new places, new people, all that kind of stuff. I suppose that's how I ended up in South America. It's how he ended up here, and we all go traveling. And I think that's part of it, is to incorporate that love for travel and seeing people and playing shows for people and meeting people. That we're all down for that. That's something we all want to do. If he does all the hard work, that's fine.
That's it. Put him to work.
I'll sit in a bus. That's fine. I don't have to worry.
Get ready.
Yeah.
But it's always like there's obviously a lot of work, as you mentioned, that has to be put in for something like that to actually go ahead eventually. I understand with the pandemic and stuff. Yeah, as you said, it's like a bit of like it'll be in the distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of work. There's not need to do a lot of contacts that needs to be made and stuff.
So. But it's one of those that if you do it once with us, and we get to know some people and meet some people, and then the second time's always easier, third time's easier, fourth time's easier. You know, it's the more you do something, the easier it gets. Yeah. And as Dimmy said, we're patient. We're not going anywhere. We just keep going. Just keep doing stuff.
And also have bands down south. We have bands up north. They want to come to play. They want to do gigs there.
Yep.
So just point contacts and then make a route. And then we have a band come from Sydney. Let's put a show here. I can do on Thursday. I can do on Friday. I can do on Saturday. I can do on Sunday. All right, have a tour.
And then I guess when you meet that band from Sydney or whatever, and they go, "Oh, we're playing a show in October at this place," and then do you want to come? And you start building those things up. I think the dream is I suppose similar to what you're doing here, is a sort of connection of people with similar interests and getting people together, and making it more than just bands and more than just music, and making it a community, making it something that's bigger than all the sum of its parts. You know, something more like that's the kind of thing. It's playing shows, but it's also making new friends. It's like meeting new people and learning. It's all comes together as something that's bigger than just Black Diamond Lake or whatever. That's what it's all about, really.
I suppose like the biggest, I suppose like what you can call it, like the elephant in the room is still the financial part of it. Because you can't do all this, well, not for very long, without any income, without actually finding a way to monetize it. Is that something you guys have been thinking about?
I wouldn't say we've not thought about it, but it's something we think about. I guess it's also about how you approach it. If you approach it as this is the only thing I want to do, I suppose then you've got to make bigger decisions. If you see it as something you do instead of going on your yearly holiday, or like like instead of buying that nice car you were thinking of getting, instead of doing that you do a tour, then it's similar to having a holiday or whatever. It's just the sort of perspective you have on it. If like Dimmy wants to start a business, then that's a different story. But if we just want to do a few shows every year in different cities, then you have to maybe not go on holiday to Bali and just enjoy
holiday in Australia.
That's it. Get a big fifth wheeler, big camper van or something, drive around.
And in a sense, that's good. The pandemic's good for that. I suppose is that
it puts stuff in perspective anyway.
And if we're stuck in Australia, if we're just stuck here. But if we're here and we can't go on those holidays, then we might as well put our money where into something we enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I sort of thought about it, but I don't like to dwell on those things too much.
No, I spoke to a guy actually a couple of what I said that's almost a year ago, I think, who had a really cool way of sort of putting it, and he said, yeah, it's like you should look at it as a holiday because it's gonna cost you money.
Yeah.
But your payment, like you get paid in memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have those memories for life.
Yeah.
Like you get to go on holiday with your best friends. Like your bandmates. You get to create and you go out and play in front of hopefully some big audiences. But people that haven't heard your music before. And obviously the better you're at either promoting yourself or finding the right promoters to promote it for you, or again finding other bands, as you said, if you can support a local band that might be able to pull a bigger crowd, then it's if you have that approach to it, like for that to sort of be like a holiday, it's a really cool way of putting it.
That's it. It's it's just doing, it's sort of a hobby, I suppose, at the end of the day, unless you're really, back when I was 18, I didn't think it was a hobby, but nowadays it's like, it's a hobby that if things go well will not be a hobby any longer. But our parents always told us, or used to tell me, you need a plan B, don't you? You need to do something else. And I used to hate that. I used to think that was the worst thing in the world to get told. Yeah. I still sort of hate it, but at the same time, it's like, you got to be realistic and you got to work within the way the world works. And if we try hard enough at our hobby, it could not be a hobby. But there's no point getting expectations and wondering about how it could be in 10 years if you never know. We'll just see what happens, I suppose. I
think it's also it's one of those parts again where the uncertainty can be the almost like the destroyer of dreams. Yeah. Because having a plan B in many cases means that you're never 100% going to commit to plan A. Yeah. Because plan B is there. Oh, if plan A doesn't work, I've got plan B. Yeah. But look, I'm like I've got my anxiety moments as well, where I'm sort of thinking, look, how is this going to work? Like, how am I going to actually eventually going to start making money and with everything sort of doing all the groundwork at the moment. But the thing is, if I had a plan B, then I would have given up a long time ago. Yeah. And it's also one of the things where, again, there is no right answer to that question, like how much you should pursue. You should pursue it to whatever is good for you. Yeah. Whatever is right for you. I mean, you should and you shouldn't listen to your parents, like you know what I mean? Because you should make up your mind, like whatever you find.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I guess I don't like the plan B idea either. It's not a plan B. It's diversifying your life.
It's part of the plan.
It's
one more topic.
But that's it. Like we met. I don't want to. You shouldn't tell people your age, I suppose. But Dimmy's older than I am, and he's still playing drums as furiously and still trying to get shows and still doing that kind of thing. And I don't think. There's no point at which we're going to go, oh, well, that was old.
But music has no age.
Exactly. So there's never going to be a point at which we don't want to create and we don't want to make music. So we're not giving up. No. We're just changing the way we look at it and approaching it in a more rational way and saying, look, we'll just do as much as we can possibly do. Carry on from there. I think you get in what you put out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you put in as much as you possibly can, then you'll get back as much as you possibly allowed.
Yeah, you're probably going to be rewarded in the percentage of effort you put into it. So, but that's also why plan B sucks. Yeah, because, that's it. Because in many ways, especially again, and I understand we're all getting older. Let's just put it that way. So we're all getting older. We all have responsibilities as the roles that we play in our private or personal lives. But same as that, like you also in those areas too, like you get what you put into it. Like if have any of you guys have got kids yourself or?
Yes.
Yeah. So that again, if the more you are a present parent, hopefully the more you're gonna get a kid back, that respects and responds to that. Yeah. Absolutely. And same as with your spouse or your partner as well. If you are present, if you're open, if you talk about things, and you're being a good person, then hopefully, most likely, are gonna get the same back.
Yeah.
Same as your workplace, same as your music and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's where the idea of that plan B falls down. You don't have a plan B for your child. You don't have a plan B for your partner, unless you do.
Don't think that's a good idea.
So why?
But that's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the term, and again, it is something that is. It's very much like a cultural thing. It is something that we're taught. Like our parents and our family and our environment that tell us, always get an education, always, go the safe route, go do what everybody else is doing, and you'll be fine. So, but someone has to sort of, swim against the stream.
Yeah, that's it.
And
I think that's it. Most musicians are people that have always swum against the stream.
Creative people in general, I reckon, because it is one of those things where I said, but you're never going to make it. Somebody will. Somebody does. Yeah. Somebody are finding a way out. I reckon if you've spoken to someone 20 years ago and saying you're going to have electric cars, you're like, whatever. Yeah. You're going to have a little device in your pocket. You don't need really anything else than this, because you can call people, you can look up any recipe, you can find out what the weather is in Brazil, anything. It's like you're out of your mind. Yeah. You can talk with, like, lag free. And see, like, completely like the person was right here. It's so, like, whatever.
No one would have believed you.
Well, what is it going to be like in 10 or 20 years, man?
Well, that's it. That's the big question, isn't it? And I guess it's also it's difficult one, because if we have seen an industry that we're in, there's not many other creative arts where the thing you produce has no value, no monetary value, if that makes sense.
But does it, though?
Well, it can be heard for free, and it can be experienced for free. That's right. So if I was to make a painting, there is only one of those paintings, and it is valued at a certain thing, and it's in a certain place. We don't have that in music. Our creative endeavors are there for everybody should they want them. And the industry is one trying to cope with that system. And if we'd have seen a system where music was going like this, we wouldn't be having this talk at all. Because if you made good music, you could make money out of it, like being an accountant.
You can make a lot of money on really shit music too.
Oh yeah,
probably a lot more money to be honest.
Yeah, true. But if the way it worked was better, we would all be more comfortable in that system. But we're watching it where people's value for music goes down. If you ask anyone on the street, like, how much would you pay for that song? Everyone's going to go, I don't have to pay for it. But imagine being a company that produces something that's got zero, that costs zero, and everyone can have for free. You're not going to be a profitable business. If you look at a band like a business, you're not going to be a profitable business if your product has no value. And it's I'm just thinking that, if the world had gone a different way where music had a better value, we wouldn't be having this discussion about, well, how do we find out?
But I think in many ways, if you're looking at, say, for instance, if you're an upcoming actor or public speaker or something like that, it's the same thing. Like, sometimes you actually have to pay to be able to get on people's stages. You know what I mean? Like, you have to actually spend your time and money to actually go and be on stage with someone or be in front of an audience. Much the same as if you're a band. Yeah. Needless to say, like, if you guys got offered to, support Foo Fighters tomorrow, like, you'd pay whatever. Yeah. To go, like, pay to get there, which is insane when you think about it.
It is, yeah.
But I think the way that the music industry is settled now is, I agree with the fact that your music itself is gonna be hard to monetize. Unless you are making those like special releases or you are re-releasing stuff on vinyl or releasing stuff on vinyl. But I reckon, same as any other business, you need an audience. So the bigger audience you can get, the more people you could sell your music to. Yeah. But then you can also sell them a lot of other things that you guys are doing. You can sell them exclusivity. Sell them because obviously if you get a much bigger fan base, you're going to have people that want to know more about you and on a more one-on-one level that you might not do to the people up front. Obviously the good old thing of merchandise, that's again like the band shirt has been like a statement thing. If you're like a band, you got to have a shirt. Yeah. Or like a beanie or a hat or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if and same as anything. So again, if you guys have got a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand or tens of thousands of followers, that could potentially exponentially increase the potential buyers, the potential audience, and revenue that you could create that way.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
but again, it takes time, and it takes a business plan, and it takes ideas and creativity and time. It takes a lot of time.
It's time, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. It's a tough one because you get stuck in a loop sometimes if you think about it too much. You can get stuck in that loop of, is this thing that I'm doing, the effort that I need to get to that exponential point, how much is that going to take away from me in time and money and all that kind of stuff? And then you just get stuck in a loop of thinking, I don't know. I had an existential music crisis back in South America where I was like, this is it, I'm done. I can't be bothered with this. This is stupid. Because I've got a friend, I was traveling with an artist, a writer, and I was a musician, well, a couple of us musicians. And the writer's writing books and selling them on Amazon for £17 a pop. See you later, off you go. The artists painting paintings, and I'm writing songs, and no one's giving me any money. So I was just like, this is it, I'm done.
It's a tough gig, man. Yeah.
Yep. And I guess it's that point where you're like, well, the love for it is more than anything. That the money doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who was it we spoke to a while back? It was another band, and they were like, look, some people play golf and they pay for their golf clubs, and if you want to get better, you have to buy new golf clubs. This is what it is. It's something you love doing. It costs money to do it. You have to put the money into it to get what you want out of it. And it's that sort of same thing. It's a process. It's a thing you do.
Well, that's again like it's just so important that you are. I often use the word calibrated, like the fact that you're all sort of set on the same page in regards to what you want out of it. Because 100%, I actually use the exact same analogy about golfing.
Yeah.
So if you treat the band the same way as, if you want to go play golf on like a Saturday and Sunday morning, catch up with your mates, you have a couple of swings, and you go out and you have coffee or brunch after and stuff, and you go home. That's great. That's the same as you playing a gig on Saturday and. Or every second week, and you go back to your day job and whatever it is. If that's what you want out of it, congratulations, you won.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. And the thing is to keep the golf analogy going. If you do that enough times, you get good enough. People start to recognize you. People start to see that you're good. Then you start to maybe get asked to come and play a golf round rather than having to pay. Or it's that progress. If you enjoy something and you're good at it, it's got to be the convergence of the two. You can't enjoy something and be awful at it. You can't be great at something but not enjoy it. It's got to be both of those things come together. Then you would expect that with time and effort, some success is going to come in some form. You would hope. Yeah. Unless you're really unlucky.
Yeah, but I suppose as well. I think the most instrumental thing there is if you want to be making more out of golf.
Yeah.
Then you need to make that shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
And focus a lot less on plan A and a lot more plan A and a lot less on plan B. Because, of course, people eventually could see, wow, Barry's a really good golfer, man. I should get him to come and join our function over here, like a charity event. And would you come and play here?
Yeah.
But if you start chasing that up because you want it, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah.
You can still go on holidays and wow, there's a golf course. See you later, honey. I'm just gonna go and play on Saturday and you have that sort of like the holiday comparison as well.
Yeah.
But I think the main shift is how much you want it. And if you do want it, then obviously you're gonna put in more time. Like you were talking about how connecting dots with bands and stuff. Like if that's you, wow, I want it. I'm gonna do all this because I want it.
Yeah.
But if you didn't want it and you're hoping that some bands are going to contact you, it's going to be a much, much slimmer chance of that happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can buy all the expensive golf clubs and the fancy guitars and stuff, but that's not going to improve that.
Yeah,
you could have an old secondhand guitar you bought for $200 in Gumtree and have all the passion and drive in the world, and that will steer the vessel.
Yeah. You're right, absolutely. And I think for us as a band, this man is the one that's got
fantastic. Well, but you need one of those.
Yeah, that's it. And
you need a captain.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what gets us where all the things that we are very happy to receive, being here. But yeah, I agree. It is down to that, isn't it? Really, it's as long as you're passionate and want to work hard and achieve something out of it, then. you can't go.
And a really cool thing about this whole COVID thing, which is also like that's the whole reason why this started. I started this in lockdown last year. But my point that I was going to say is that this is a prime opportunity for someone like you who is really passionate and driven about it to start reaching out to other podcasts, other platforms around, because there's so many around the world.
Yes.
And those ones are the ones. First of all, you don't need to travel.
Yeah.
You need to travel here because you have to get in your car and drive here.
Yeah.
But if you have to talk to a podcaster in Brazil, you can sit at home and do that.
Yeah.
Or you can catch up at the rehearsal room and do that while you're there anyway and just chat to them for an hour or however long that the duration is.
Yeah.
But that will get you far more audience reach than it would be to play another gig at the local venue in Perth in front of the same people that have seen you guys before and the same people that are going to come to the other band's gig all the time.
Yeah.
And that stuff is free.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And
I'm lucky in that sense that that's the way it's gone. Yeah.
And again, you mentioned Facebook groups yourself, like how you guys met. Again, nothing. Go in there and mingle. Go in and make friends.
Yeah.
Make friends that would then like your music, because your music is great. Like again, you have a good product.
Yeah.
You just need more people to find out about it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
we just need to put some more time into the finding that, pushing that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a skill as well. It's definitely a skill.
But so is writing songs and learning to play guitar.
Yeah,
and that's something you already mastered that. And the reason why the other stuff is a skill that's a bit uncomfortable is because you're not doing it.
You're probably right.
And that's and that's why it's something same as anything else. It's a muscle you need to work. Like I hate leg day, but I still gotta do my squats, and it hurts and it sucks. But oh man, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But that again comes down to what we were talking about before. How much do you want it?
Yeah.
Because if you really wanted it, then you'd look up a tutorial every now and then, or you'd go in and you'd search for music Facebook groups or podcasts in Brazil or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're gonna start popping up because you're searching for them.
Yeah.
More and more. Instead of watching, I've used this all the time as well. If you come home at night, instead of watching Netflix for an hour, learn something on YouTube. Watch a YouTube tutorial.
That's right.
You mentioned yourself about recording.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. Like we want to do this. We're gonna record this stuff. Oh shit, how do we do that? I'm just gonna find out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you find out because you have to.
That's right. Yeah.
If the ultimatum was, we have to make this work because I just got made redundant because of COVID and I've got no other options. And this is my only chance to then do this. And I'm going to give it 100%. Then you figure it out. 100%.
Yeah. If you don't have any other option.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If your life depended on it. If you don't do this, you're going to die. You got 6 months.
Yeah.
You're going to,
but yeah.
Yeah. You're going to put in 16 hours a day, man.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I think it's for us as a band, we don't lack any of that drive in many senses. I guess it just comes down to a possibility. Yeah, really, at the end of the day. It's like we're talking about kids and family and all that, and it's like if that takes up your time, how much have you got to put on the end? And I guess for us, like, we don't lack that drive in any way. We're really, really driven to make this work. And that's how we ended up with this album and how we ended up with everything we've got. It's just that point at which we go, what am I willing to forego in order to put the time towards this? What am I willing to not do in order to get this? Am I willing to not, do that thing on Saturday night in order to sit down and do that? And I guess that's sort of where we're at the moment as a new band with this back catalogue of songs. We gig. We think we're pretty professional when we come. We're not kind of a group that will turn up and mess around and get drunk and do stupid things. We're pretty professional. If you book us, we'll do a good
super
job.
Important. Yeah.
We pride ourselves on that kind of experience of being able to do it. We'll put on a great show for you, and that's it. But yeah, it's just sort of trying to find those little avenues, especially in a small place like Perth, trying to find the little avenues and find the right person to speak to and find the right group to comment on or whatever, and just trying to get those things. And I think Dimmy's really good at that. And it's something that I could probably learn a lot about. But,
I think people always look at new bands as a new band.
Mm.
Okay, it's a new band, but we are experienced.
Absolutely.
But we need to have patience, and we're gonna do baby steps because everybody won't change his.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at us as a new band, but if they don't see us on the stage, they won't change their minds. And as soon as they say, okay, these guys are different, then I can swap my drums in 5 minutes, and then the next band gonna look at me like, wow, I never saw this before. Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm not a new band, but I'm a new band. Then give us another opportunity, and then we're gonna build this.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Like you can be new, as in the band has not existed for very long, but you can put a band together of like super experienced, like A-class musicians that operate really professional, and then they aren't new in the sense that they're amateurs. They're professionals, but they've only been in that sort of entity for a very short amount of time.
We have another bar here. We are not from the scene. When you grow up in the scene, you know bands, you know friends, you know people.
Yeah.
We are not from Perth, and we have a new product, a new band, and then we are just introducing the new friends and the new bands, and then gonna talk to each other. I think this is gonna be the year we're gonna build our way for the next year, because we got one gig, and then we got another gig, and then more and more people gonna the bands, the guys. And like you helping us, and lots of radio shows around the globe or even Australia playing our music, and then people gonna that band, that guys. And then I think next year gonna be a little bit easier to get more gigs and more.
The fact alone that you guys have an album and you've only been around for like, not even 2 years of been gigging for less than a year really is doesn't really make you a new band as such. You know what I mean? Like it makes you quite experienced.
Yeah.
Like you would have accomplished more than bands that have been around for many years and probably played many more gigs that you guys have.
That's it. Everything we've done is pretty calculated. It's almost like...
That's good.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
It's like the music is uncalculated, but everything else is calculated. It's like we want to go in and play music as raw and organic as possible, but then outside of that, we want to go, right, we've been in many bands. Where did it go wrong? What can we do better? How can we approach this? That's why we did that album first. It's why we're not rushing, trying to pick up any gig here in the middle of the street or anything. We're not rushing. We're being patient, because in a sense, that's what we've learned the years of doing it, is if we show up and we are efficient in our way that we work and professional, and then we put on a good show, a promoter's going to look and go, oh, they were good. Yeah. Like they worked well. I'd put them on again. And then, that's the sort of thing. We're all very calculated in the way that we've done all this. I think we're reaping the benefits now of something that we did 2 years ago. Decisions we made 2 years ago are now coming into fruition, so we're pretty lucky in that sense. But we'll
takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah, absolutely, it all does. And again, as we discussed earlier, like again, it comes back in the percentage of work you put into it. So again, if you do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, you're gonna get there a lot quicker than if you're sitting back and waiting. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think we notice our flaws. Like I noticed that that's not my strong suit. That's not what I'm good at. And it is what he's good at. And I help in all the ways I can, translating things mostly out of broken Brazilian and English. But we all found our roles and what we do in the band, and keep that going rather than fighting about things. And we don't send that message, don't do that, don't talk to that, but we're just going, no, you do you're good at this.
That's so good. And that's so important, important too, man. That you again that you're good at sort of delegating almost. So I mean, I've that you know your place. Like your strength is sort of booking and sort of doing like a lot of the PR stuff. And again, like I don't know if you have an official role, but again, like if the other band members have their thing, the more I reckon the better you are at not crossing the lines, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the more focused you can work. Because if you constantly have to ask the other guys, I was thinking about doing this, and no, that's fine, you got it. It's yours.
Yeah, we're very open to that. Like, it's not, as I say, it's something. To be honest, I don't enjoy that part of it. Yeah. That's not why I'm in the business.
It takes a different mindset.
That's not why I'm in the business. I want to be if dreams are dreams, I just want to write the songs and drive the bus, you know?
Yeah.
I want to do absolutely nothing. I want someone else to do everything for me, and I'll write the songs. It's fine. Yeah. I obviously know that's a pretty selfish way of looking at it, but that's the way I would like it to be. Is that we do it all. We have our own parts, and the things I don't enjoy doing, I don't have to do, and the things he doesn't enjoy doing, he doesn't have to do.
Absolutely,
it's the way it should be, and the things you do enjoy doing, you do.
Well, again, if you're in this like symbiotic relationship where you kind of like you have to sort of exist, like coexist, but sort of be reliant and fill in each other's parts. So I was like he couldn't promote anything if you didn't write the songs.
Yeah. That's it.
And obviously your songs wouldn't be heard by anyone of getting any gigs if he wasn't doing it, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things like you need each other, and that's perfect that you have the balance, because it would be super annoying if you both are really good at writing songs. Yeah. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, to be honest, it all stems, as I spoke about the first jam, it was almost like we already had those roles musically. It was like, you're good at that, and you're good at that, and you're good at that, and let's just keep going with that, and each do their role.
How good is that? Yeah, that's perfect.
Transfer that into the sort of back end of the band, where he's got those skills, I've got these skills.
And Mark, are you free next Sunday? Yes. Barry, yes. Can you book? Okay. And Mark always book the studio, always do this job. And spreadsheets and money. So
it's so important to have like the accountant, you know, like the spreadsheet guy.
We've got them.
Yes.
Man, they're worth gold, man.
Yeah. So I just count our blessings really with this band. Like, we're all very lucky to be that we have the way we work.
We have a team and behind, because we got Jordan to mix and mastering. I got a friend. He's a brilliant designer. Illustrator,
artwork and stuff.
Yeah, my wife used to do lots of things on computer, photos, and so we have lots of people around. Helping. So we can do our job like properly without. I have to check this. I had to check this. No, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
You're gonna do
That's it. It takes a team, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah.
But what about with the future and the pandemic and all that bullshit, by the time that's done, and let's hope the world's green to play next year or something after you've done this year to build, wouldn't it be possible for you guys to go to Brazil and
we've talked about it lots of times, so
go over there and do an 18-kilometer tour again.
Well, my best friend actually lives in Rio. My two mates actually live in Rio. So when we went traveling through South America, I'm the one that came here, and they just sort of stayed.
Yeah, right.
One of them met a Brazilian girl and married a Brazilian girl last year. So, for me, there's a personal connection to going to Brazil. For Dimmy, obviously.
What's that where you lived as well? Did you live in Brazil?
So I never lived in Brazil.
Okay.
I left before they went to Brazil, but I went back last year. Yeah. Flew to Brazil in March 2020. Bad idea, but it was for a wedding, so it was fun. But yeah, so I have a connection there. I've got friends there. Yeah, that kind of stuff. He obviously has got a big connection there. So for me, that's the dream. Really, I would love to do that. To drive awesome, from up north to down south, playing gigs. That would be absolutely amazing. And if it's possible, it's possible. But we'll just we're not counting our chickens. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But that is sort of the thing we want to do. Obviously, as well with the way that the band's gone. We've got a fair few people in Brazil. We wouldn't be lacking finding people in different cities that already know us. So we're doing all right in that sense. So yeah, I think we'll do that. We just need to get Mark on board. He's the one that's got no connection to Brazil, and with spreadsheets comes, stinginess.
Yeah. Well, would it be possible for you to get some income from some of the gigs if you were booking? Yeah. Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't then
festivals?
Yep.
So, but
we sell it to him as a money making.
Yeah. You just gotta get enough of them. Then you print some merch, you sell some T-shirts, and you get some cool get some vinyls, some CDs, and some bits and pieces, some stuff that people can
Whenever you
pay
think about Brazil, you can get it.
That's good.
That's it. We've talked about that plenty of times. Mostly just sort of daydreaming and thinking about how good it would be. But I guess the more songs we write, the more we perform, the more we spend time together, the more likely that kind of stuff becomes, and the more possible it all becomes. So we just have to see what happens with that. Yeah.
Well, probably like out of everything you guys are talking about, sort of like going overseas, and you mentioned Europe as well. Like Brazil sounds like, especially given your experience and you've done it before, it sounds like something that could very well, actually turn out.
One interesting thing is this, like the Tame Impala is like the biggest band for the Brazilians. Everyone loves rock. They said, "Wow, the Tame Impala is." And then I came to Perth and talking to people about Tame Impala. Huh? Tame Impala. Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah. We heard that.
Really?
We heard that one song,
Really?
Elephant or whatever.
They put 60,000 people in a stadium in Brazil. Really?
Oh yeah, that's the maddest thing to me is the different approach to rock music in general, but in music in general, but rock music more specifically, is that Brazil, I've never been anywhere like it where the people just will turn out.
Yeah.
They will come and they will.
Passionate.
They're passionate about it and they'll come and they'll love it. It's like, here, if you look at the way that EDM happens here, you get those big gigs of thousands of people all going there. Well, it's rock music in Brazil. And you get like at festivals, there's thousands and thousands of people and they're all there for rock and roll. And
that's awesome, man.
It's amazing. It's next level. And South America in general is like that. But Brazil is a specifically beautiful place where bands they all want to go to Brazil. You look at Oasis. Yes. Like all the English bands, they all just want to go to Brazil. Yeah. That's all the places they want to go. Go to Brazil and Japan as well. I think is pretty similar. But Brazil is where everyone wants to go. So we'll ride that train. We'll go there.
Yeah, I was about to, but that whole story about Tame Impala.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just make you go like, screw Perth, screw Australia? Like let's find somewhere else. And obviously Brazil, given your connections, would be. Like top of the list, man. Fucking so obvious. Like target that, and obviously like with your love as well, because like where would you rather make it? Would you rather make it big in Brazil or South America, or make it big in Perth or Australia?
Yeah.
Like there's like 24 million people in Australia and like about 2 million in Perth. Yeah. And the logistics is horrible.
Yeah, but maybe we can get more attention if you go to Brazil and come back and
absolutely, absolutely, 100%, 100%.
Can I get a gig?
Yeah, because you get attention.
Exactly.
People follow attention. And you have a story to write, especially if you can document that, if you can shape that and like write up a cool press release. Of course you're going to get more attention, and you're not going to be a new band anymore. You might still be a new band, but you're going to be a new band that's fucking toured all over, drove 18,000 kilometers in Brazil.
That's it.
And that's going to put a lot of other guys to shame and give you attention, well-deserved attention. So. I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to hearing about that story soon.
We'll find a role for you.
I'll sell the merch. No, that's amazing, man.
So, but we never know. We'll see what happens, I suppose. Yeah, but I suppose that's where we're lucky, and also it's not just luck, but we're lucky that we've got that in our locker. It's possible for us. It's not completely far-fetched. So we're very, very lucky in that sense that we've come together, and that's a possibility. We're loving it. We'll have to see what happens as long as the borders open up. But
even if they don't, man, focus. This is my personal sort of, this is my mission or my crusade, if you like. But focus on the online stuff, man, because the online stuff is easy. It's free most of the time, and again, that's where you can you can build your audience online anywhere.
What kind of stuff have you seen working online? Like what works? Because that's, again, for me, this is not my
consistency and networking. So the same way as you would network with trying to get a venue up and running. Like go into forums or maybe reach out to bands overseas. Or reach out to, like what I would do if I was a band. I would reach out to like online radio stations, podcasts, web scenes, like magazines that want to make reviews of upcoming bands. See if there's other people sort of like myself who's got a little platform, a little growing platform. They would they would talk to anyone. And then you, like, if you reach out to someone in Brazil or someone in America or someone in Germany, you would be the exotic band, because they would probably a German Stephen Helhammer would talk to a lot of German bands, because there would be far more of them available, and it would be harder for them to reach outside the border. So if you approach them, they'd be like, oh, sweet, yep, I'll cancel everything. I want to talk to these cool guys from Perth. I'll never get to talk to guys from Perth. You know what I mean? So if you do that, and you start thinking outside the borders and thinking, obviously, eventually, so when we talk about calculated, if you are sort of thinking, okay, it would be cool to go to Brazil, then I would definitely 100% look at Brazil first. Yeah. Find areas there where you can start, planting seeds. So, start throwing rocks in the water, start creating those ripple effects. And that's, you can build so much attention in no time, because you can do it from home. You can go home tonight and find 50 emails. And then the next day you sit down, you write a cool press release, and then you target it to podcasters, you target it to radio stations, you target it to Facebook groups or bands, and said, hey man, just checked out your music, it sounds phenomenal, man. We'd love to, if we ever get a chance to come to Brazil, we'd love to play something with you guys. What's the worst that could happen? They don't reply, or they say no.
They know.
But someone will say yes. So sounds excellent. Let's stay in touch. Yeah. Then you got a new friend. You got a new connection.
Yeah, because that's it. We've done the radio thing. We've done the send it out to all the independent online radio stations. Yeah, it's been played on loads of different ones. But I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical when it comes to these things. I just wonder. You see it being played, and you don't see any uptick in any way.
But
no,
I have this.
But I'm skeptical, so I acknowledge that I'm the skeptical one.
Yeah,
but I'm keeping doing.
But he's the opposite, so it's absolutely fine. He'll keep going.
It's to give you my perspective on that, because I understand, and it's a totally valid observation. I think you should probably do the flip side, saying you could go out and you could play a gig. That would give you some. I love playing gigs, but you might play in front of 20 people.
And you don't see any uptick.
You don't see any of them do anything. They might not even like your music because they actually came to see the other band. You know what I mean?
His friend.
So, but at least you get the satisfaction of being on stage and playing your music. You don't see that. You don't have that rush of dopamine or I'm on stage. I'm getting the excitement. You don't see that from sending an email. Yeah. Or from I can see my songs being played. I'm expecting like 1 million views now on my streams on YouTube, on Spotify or something. Yeah. Of course, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Like unless you get, again, talking about the stages, unless you get on stage with Metallica or Foo Fighters or something, unless they name drop you or something like that. Then there's a much bigger chance of that ripple effect being like a fucking boulder you throw in the lake, in the Black Diamond Lake. But but as you said as well, you just got to chip away, be patient. As long as you're doing something, as long as you're being consistent. So that was my whole point about being on. No matter what you do, online or in person, as long as you keep doing it. But the more you do it, the faster you can get there. But again, it's tedious and it's annoying and it's
Now for me,
that's the main.
But someone's got to do it, and if he loves to do it,
no, that's it. That's why I'm lucky. Because if I was on my own, I'd get nowhere. So it's good that he's got that. It just doesn't run out. It's a fuel tank that doesn't run out of absolute joy and passion, and it's brilliant to see. But that's it. That's why we're lucky we've got him.
Phenomenal, man.
But for me, it's one of those that I hate all that. I really don't.
Fun fact: last week, a couple of weeks ago, we were featured in a radio show in Argentina. The guy from Uruguay, he just loved album's brilliant, blah blah. He just picked the song he hates. Man, okay, we can put the song, but it's there. Yeah. And also in Brazil, on the same weekend we got in Argentina and Brazil the same song. But
that's awesome.
Last Thursday.
That is fantastic, man.
Banbury, and the guy just texted me, man, the name of the band has same connection with the lake. Yeah, definitely. Wow, I'm from Kuli. And wow, perfect. Yes, people are going to get crazy. Don't stop. This is very interesting.
It is.
I love radio. I love radio shows. And I said to him, man, this is my dream come true.
Yeah.
My band playing the radio and like 2 hours waiting. Yes, my band. Yes, I got my band. I got my music. And that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But
it doesn't matter. It's like,
and then after that, no one on Spotify.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Oh, making me feel bad about myself. But yeah,
it's valid though. It's valid, but again, it's that like it's that thing that we are sort of like taught in this digital age. Like you just need that instant approval now.
Yeah,
and
that's it. Yeah, that is exactly it. It's that instant approval, but it's also like I don't know. I just feel
in the end, it's media. We need media.
Yeah,
we need someone talking about
absolutely.
us.
But that's what like do a lot more of this.
Yeah.
Because another thing, and I've mentioned this countless times on some of the previous chats I've done, is when people listen to a conversation where you talk. I mean, we haven't got into a lot of like personal stuff here. Like we've sort of kept it very much about the music and passion and stuff. But sometimes when you do hear a podcast where someone shares some really cool and interesting stories about themselves or about the background and stuff, you actually can connect with people without even knowing. You can actually like the music without even ever heard it.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's something that can give you a much more passionate or much more long-lasting fan because you've said something, whether it's your band name being Black Diamond Lake and something can resonate with that, or I'm from Brazil, cool man, I like these guys, I want to shake them out because I'm from Brazil myself, or whatever it is. But if you have something in common, that's how connections are built. And if you do this, like I said, I can mention so many times where I've listened to podcasts without knowing anything. Look, who the hell are these guys? And then I looked them up. I was like, wow. But it's probably not the music I would have put on, but because I know the story, because I've heard what they had to say. You have this profound connection or profound respect for someone. Whether that music is something you're like a diehard fan of or not, like you mentioned, like it's like someone played a song that you didn't like, but that obviously might have been something that they listened to and go like, wow, this is such a cool song.
That always blows my mind, that kind of stuff. I guess you have personal feeling, as you say, you get connected in different ways to different things.
Yep.
And for me, like my connection to that one song is like, oh, that's the worst one on the album. I don't like that. And then someone else goes, that's the best one on the album, and I'm always
isn't that beautiful?
It's amazing.
That's so good. That's so good.
It shows that how different everybody is, and how someone like me being silly and getting into my box and saying, no, I don't like the way this works, is not right, because someone else might, and someone else might see that, and everybody's different. But yeah, it's an odd one.
But that's art. That's art in general.
Yeah.
Like when you create something that is unique, so unique. Because I mean, like you're the only band in the world who's created this album, created these songs. So if you have someone out there who is listening to that, or if you've got someone who's looking at a painting and saying, I find this painting so butt ugly, man. But to others, it might be the Mona Lisa. It might be, this is the best song I've heard, man. Whoa, this is the best album I've heard, man. Fuck, who are these guys?
Yeah.
But you need to be consistent. You need to constantly put yourself out there and get people to look at that painting or listen to those songs, because otherwise you aren't going to find those people. And that's my whole point about the online thing. The more you push that, especially now where you can't do anything else, you can't go to Brazil, or you probably could if you really, really had to, but there's no point because of what the world looks like at the moment. So focus your energy, especially also while you're still a new band. Build that audience online, because it's the effort required versus the potential outcome, the potential result is 10x, 100, 1000x compared to what it would be if you had to jump in the van and drive 18,000 kilometers. Mic drop. Poof.
It's definitely that's it. It's something we're already sort of doing, but yeah, I guess your passion is making me personally go, all right, we'll do that more.
not you.
No.
But again, but the like to just expand that horizon.
Yeah,
just saying, because I understand it. I remember when I was geeking a lot more in my younger days, and I had my original band, and I was like, to me, I was the same. I was no fucking plan B. I'm not working in retail and things. I'm gonna be a rock star and stuff. So you delve into it so hard with such a insanely high drive that this is it and nothing else. And for me, yeah, absolutely. I wanted to play the big stages. I wanted to, be out in front of an audience because that's what gives you the feeling, like it gives you the response and you can talk to an audience and you get the feedback. And I get that. But how the world looks like now, like back then, there's no Facebook, no Instagram, no YouTube, and no like button and all that crap. But if we had that back then, I would have been all over that shit. Because like what I was doing back then, I was picking up the phone and and I was emailing people. I was spending hours finding emails from people to magazines and journalists. I would usually just find, like, if it was like an editor for a music magazine, I would call them up and say, look, I'm just gonna send you an email here. This is what it's about. So I would love it. I would really appreciate it if you guys could give us some feedback, or if you could tell me who I had to send this to, or whatever it was. And a lot of people would be like, who the fuck is this? Yeah. And then, but eventually, again, if you keep calling, if you're persistent, you keep doing it, they will, whatever. Okay, I'm going to give it a listen. Yeah. But in this digital age, I understand. There's so much more noise out there. There's a lot more bands available and all that stuff.
And also,
there is.
You don't see that background stuff from the front.
No, you don't.
So
no,
that's
you don't.
Another thing that throws people off is that you don't see that background stuff happening, and you see a band take off or a song take off, and you go, "How lucky are they? Just lucky. They've just managed to somehow get heard by the right person."
Yep.
Because you don't see that background effort being put in.
No.
And it looks so natural and easy. Oh, they've just got lucky there. When actually they've probably been grafting for years in the background, and someone doing
probably, most likely.
Yeah. So that's where I think some of the problem comes, is that you don't see it, so you expect that you don't have to do it.
There is, there's. I've reckon you're 100% right. Yeah. Like, I think there's a huge disconnect, and that's also because it's so much easier to be lazy, to go home, to turn on Netflix. Yeah, and assume that the next day because we just wrote these killer songs, of course someone is gonna pick us up.
Someone will hear it.
Yeah, but the guys where that does happen overnight, and you'd be like, oh yeah, they got lucky.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you don't see anything that they've done previously. Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose, but I think there's always an element of luck. But at the same time, it's not always luck.
There's definitely a lot more luck involved when you are putting in, a lot of
luck is more likely to happen when you're putting in a lot of effort.
Yes,
it's not always lucky, is it? It's hard work that's met opportunity, and just off you go.
The right moment.
It gets a lot. It gets a lot easier to get lucky when you're.
Yeah, when you're doing
everything, when you're working a lot harder than everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how our approach has been. We'll keep going.
Oh, absolutely. I reckon I'm super excited, man, to hear how everything's going, man. I'd love to help out any way you can as well, man.
So you already are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, look, this what I got here is still like a small platform, but again, I'm super passionate about what I'm doing. I love having these conversations to bands, and I always learn from the people I talk to as well. Like, there's always something that comes up. Oh yeah, I never thought about that. Like everything you said about Brazil and what you both mentioned about the whole rock scene there, something. That's interesting. That's super passionate. That's something I would love to look into, and I'll probably have a chat to you later about it and stuff like that. Something. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Have a look in. Whoa.
Yeah.
Even in Buenos Aires, I can't remember when, but I saw like the AC/DC in Buenos Aires advertisement in the whole South America, and then they just recorded DVD. Was like the best DVD I've seen. Like, fuck, the people in Argentina was like in a stadium, like watching the Boca Juniors, I don't know, singing the songs. The proper band was like, the same with Rush. They went to Brazil. There is a DVD called Rush in Rio, I think, yes. And they like, man, we are a good band, come on. And the guys like, fuck, so many 60,000 people like crying in just a Rush, a cold band. No,
that is fantastic, man. Yeah,
not for us. And I asked him, man, how is for you the Beatles? How big is the Beatles? How much is important? And I think it's a boy band, and in Brazil people die of Beatles. Like, Paul McCartney is a genius, Ringo Starr, okay, but in Brazil we have this feeling. And for an English guy, tell me, And it's another band.
Yeah.
But that's the same. But that's the same as the story about Tame Impala. So who are they? So Tame Impala.
Yeah. If only everyone had the same passion as the Brazilian fans.
But that's the beauty of music, man. Like I said, you have an audience out there. Like there's always an audience for you out there. Some people have a huge audience, like I said, usually all the shit you hear on the radio and all the commercial stuff. Or again, you have a really diehard niche audience somewhere.
That's the good thing about, as you're saying, going online and all that kind of stuff, is that there is always going to be a group of people. There is always going to be, as long as you can tap into it, it's so much easier now for someone to go, oh, I like rock music, let me find a podcast, and they just go through 2 or 3 clicks and they're here, you know, and that's a brilliance of it. But that, I guess also that's the downfall of it, is that it can get lost. But yeah, the brilliance of it is that these people, like these Brazilian passion, can just congregate and meet online and move all around there.
We have Lollapalooza Brazil, we have Rock in Rio. They're huge millions of people there.
Wasn't the biggest gig in the world Rod Stewart at Copacabana?
Yeah,
there was like 1 million people on the Copacabana beach.
I think New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
The same with Rolling Stones. New Year's Eve in Copacabana Beach.
It's just
millions of people on the street.
End to end.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Brazil.
This is you. This is why you're like.
That'd be insane, man.
How many? It was like 1 million people.
Yes. Yeah.
That makes a 60,000 people stadium look like a tiny little venue next to it.
Think about Iron Maiden playing Brazil, 2 gigs, and then sold out. And then next year, 4. And then for next year, 7. 2 in São Paulo, 1 in Rio, and Porto Alegre, and then down south and up north.
Potential,
and always sold out, always.
But I mean that could, obviously on a smaller scale, it could be you. Like you come over there, like you do a tour, you play for a certain amount of people. Like you heard Parkway Drive did that. You know, I don't know if you know the Australian metalcore band. Yeah. They did the same. You know, when they first started, took a van, went over to Europe, just drove around there. A bunch of surfer dudes from I think they're from the Gold Coast or something, and they were just driving around over there. And they came back a couple of years later. Played a lot of the same spots, but there was more people. And they came back, and then they were sold out. And then they came back, and there was bigger venues and still selling out. So because you scale it, like exactly. But again, because you're consistent, you keep going back, you keep making music, you keep grinding at it. Yeah. But in this moment, I said, but everything is so contracted. Like if you can start getting in there and building a base, so when everything opens up again. Oof, you're gonna open up with it. Yeah,
that's the aim.
And the beauty of it is, like as I said, you can sit at home, do it on your laptop, man. And that's the beauty of the digital world. As long as you can filter through all the crap and expectations of people and all the trolls.
Very tempting.
I haven't watched Netflix for probably 2 or 3 months. It's been a while. It's also because I've started for the last probably 5 weeks or something. I've gone to bed at like 10 because I get up at 4:30.
Yeah, what are you getting up at 4:30 for?
Just because to have a good routine.
Okay.
4:30.
So try and because again, if I've got 3 little boys as well. So by the time they wake up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, that's it in the morning.
Before them and ready and
because it's so quiet. You can get stuff done.
Yeah,
you can sit down. It's a good way to get your morning routine dialed in. You know what I mean?
How long does it take to get used to waking up at 4:30 in the morning?
Probably transition to it in about a week, I'd say. I think the most important thing, if it's something you're looking into doing, put your alarm clock far, far away.
Yes.
So
that's the trick.
Yeah. So I've also made a rule for myself. I can't if I go into my bedroom, unless it's during the day, I cannot have my mobile phone is not allowed in my bedroom at night. If it's during the day, if I got to call someone, it's fine. Yeah. If I want to bring my laptop in during the day to work and close the door, that's fine. Yeah. But at nighttime, then it's not. There's no screen time in the bedroom. So what I do is I take my phone. Obviously, my phone can go in the bedroom, but I put it to charge, like in the opposite end of where the bed is, and I have an alarm. So my alarm is set for 4:40 for 4:25 every day. So 4:25 and 4:30. So I got 2 in case I miss the first one. But it's so far away that I have to get up. And then what I've started doing now, right next to it, I just put my clothes. So when I get up, when I'm there anyway, I said, I might just take it and go out and get dressed in the theater room. And then I've got my pants on, open up my laptop, make a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. And then you have an hour where everyone is asleep.
I was going to say, but what does your partner think of your 4:30 alarm?
She gets up with me now. Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
We've actually built into a routine that we get up together and we sort of and we sit down and we talk about. So we spend about 10-15 minutes just to map out the day. What do I need to do and what does she need to do? Obviously, a lot of the stuff that she needs to do because like she stays at home. So she's I got to make sure pick up the kids. I got to take. Got to take Miles to physio. I've got to take Kingsley swimming. I've got to. But we just quickly run through it. And this is what I've got to do. I've got a podcast tonight. I've got to get up here early so I can clean the shit up and get ready for. I'm going to bring my recording gear in here tomorrow. Yeah. So I just quickly run through that and a bit of admin. I got to always try and send a couple of emails every day. So just quickly run through the routine. So it sort of gets you dialed in the morning. That's good. But because you do it when there's no kids fucking running around disturbing you, it makes such a big difference. Yeah. Because you're present. Yeah.
You're there waiting for them in the morning, not the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah. But same as everything else, like, and yeah, it probably took a couple of weeks to sort of get comfortable with it. Yeah. But again, I've done it previously in my life. I remember over a year and a half ago, I used to get up at about 4:30 and go to the gym at 5. So I was at the gym from 5 to 6 every day, Monday to Friday, bang, CrossFit, 5 a.m. So I was getting down to the gym at 4:55. You check in, and you check out just after 6. But that's it. You start your day the same way. You start it off positively. Like you go down, you've done your exercise, or here you go and you sit down, you map out your day, you know what you're doing. Yeah. So again, it's but again. That might not work for you. That might not work for someone else. But that's how you find out what works for you. You shape it, and you try as best as you can to stick to it.
And with a lot of willpower, I imagine.
Yes. Yeah. Especially now when it's so cold, man.
Yeah. I don't have any willpower, so it's difficult. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
But it's the same as anything. It's the same as learning how to write songs or learning how to play guitar. Like you just do it. Like you just eventually you find the rhythm. No pun intended.
No, it sounds like good hygiene. Like not sleep hygiene. It's sleep hygiene, isn't it? But like general life being well-rounded and doing the right things.
I'm not gonna start telling you about I also cold shower. So yeah.
That's fine. He's Brazilian and I live in South America. Yeah. Cold showers are natural.
It's good. It's so good though, isn't it? Yeah. I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah, I love a cold shower now and again. Yeah. I used to, when I lived in Colombia, I had no hot water for a year. Yeah. And it's just
summertime the whole time.
Of course. Well, that's cool then. That's cool then, because you kind of need it.
Colombia's not that warm where I was. So some days you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I have to get into this cold shower. Also, it wasn't really a shower, it was a pipe. So it wasn't like a nice rain on you. It was like a pipe of water right in your head. And
very different experience.
It takes a lot of effort in the morning to do that. Yeah, that was not fun. Yeah, you're like putting one part of your body in at a time, going
just dapping it.
Yeah. Maybe if I tap the water here, there. Oops. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Once you're in, aren't you? That's it.
Yeah.
A good. Have you heard of that Wim Hof? Do you know who Wim Hof is?
Oh man, I love him.
He's a madman.
He is absolutely brutal.
He genuinely thinks. Well, I sort of believe him that you can think everything away.
Yep.
I believe him.
I think you give your mind far too little credit for what it's capable of.
That's it. It's the most amazing machine in the universe, isn't it? It's like the best thing. But some of that mind over matter stuff, it's unreal, isn't it? That's what cold showers are. Every morning you have to do a mini one of those.
Yep.
Like a mini version of that every morning. Get yourself prepped.
I do about 3 minutes. So I go in and especially now when it's so cold outside, the water is colder.
Yeah. Doesn't get warmer.
But the thing is, like when you like you probably like the first 20-30 seconds are the hardest.
Yeah.
And then once you're in there, it's like
actually start warming up.
You're going like, and then you just, okay, it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. But then think about how awesome you feel when you get out.
Yeah.
Because like you can feel the blood rushing and like, oh man, it's so good.
It's mad. I really struggle with that. Think about how it's going to feel in the future. That's not the way I function.
But there's also a massive difference here to having a 3-minute shower or having something build up to going to Brazil in 2 years.
Yeah. They're very different.
Vastly different timeline.
Either way, I struggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I'm not very good at. But then that means I can usually get into the shower quite well because I just dive in. But then I just go, that's it.
In and out.
I'm done. I've achieved my goal.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah. Fair play.
Well, let's see. We have gone up to an hour and 38 now. That's
fair play. Is that?
Yeah, good.
That's quite a fair amount of time, isn't it?
That's again, it comes down like sometimes I've done some conversation that's been close to 4 hours, and I've done some that's been like under 1, and it depends. Might be probably a good spot to maybe try and wrap it up here.
Yeah.
But obviously, before we do that, I need you guys to sort of just tell people where they can go and tune in to find out more about you.
Yeah, tune in.
Oh yeah, Geeks social pages.
July 17th.
Yes.
At The Convenience. It's a new venue.
Manhattan. Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Spotify. Type in the words Black Diamond Lake and you will find us. We're pretty much the only band called that.
Yep. Very easy to find.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else is there?
I never read.
What's that Brazilian one your friends are on?
Bandcamp?
Yeah. No, not that one, but all of the stuff. Just fine.
Facebook, Instagram. Yep.
All of those.
Yep.
Yeah, we're around. Yeah. And send us a message. Say hello.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
How do you say hello?
Hello.
Hello, hey!
It's really tough.
Hola.
Yeah. In Danish, you say hi.
Oi.
Yeah.
Hi. So it's actually the same as you do here. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
So there you go. Hello. There you go. Yeah.
Just get in touch.
That's easy, man. Yeah. Fantastic, man. Invite you guys onto some podcasts. Go do it.
Yeah. We're gonna work. We're working hard. I'm pumped now.
Yeah.
You're gonna help me.
Fuck Netflix, man. Go home and cancel the shit, man.
That's it.
YouTube all the way, man.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was an absolute pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to following you guys in the future and joining you as a merch guy on your Brazilian tour in a couple of years.
You've already signed up.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, boys.